All right, so here we have basics 3, and I'm not at school, so I don't have my writing pad, so I'm just going to type this out. So do number 1, it's pretty much as simple as knowing the distributive property, which 85% of you do. Some of you still struggling. Times 4x would be 8x, 2 times 8 would be 16, negative because it's positive times a negative. So minus 16, that would equal 12 still. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add 6 to both sides, and 12 plus 6 is 18. Then we're going to divide by 8, so x would be 18 eighths. And both of those numbers happen to be even, so that'd be 904 when everything's said and done. Let's get off that green. All right, now number 2, it's x's on one side, numbers on the other, and I'm just going to shift x's left. Which means I'm going to shift my numbers right. And we have I might change that. Forgive me, I've been running a fever all day. And shift x's right and our numbers left. Yeah. So on the right, on the left, we'd have 9 plus 17. I'm a math teacher, can't go too soon left and right today. On the right, we'd have 9x and 9x. 9 and 17 is 26. 9 and 9 makes 18. We would divide by the 18, and then we would simplify. Like 26 and 18 are both even, so they're both divisible by 2. 26 over 2 is 13. 8 over 2 is 4. 13 quarters. On number 3, kids will do number 3 wrong often. They'll worry about this piece first, and the first thing you should worry about is that guy right there. That's the very first thing you should worry about. So we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. And a lot of you don't watch my videos. I guess maybe you just enjoy doing it your way, but if your way is wrong half the time, maybe you should stop doing it. Now, you could distribute the 2/3 inside, but then you would create like 2/3 x plus 10/3. And I saw about 10 kids try to do that, and they didn't know what to do from then on. So what I suggest is that you 3 both sides. But again, what does the math teacher know? But if I 3 the left, I had best 3 right. Now, when you do 3 times 2/3, the 3's cancel, and that leaves you 2x plus 5 on the right-hand side, 18. And now you just got something simple. I mean, 2 times x plus 5 is 2x plus 10. Subtract 10 and you'll get 8, and Yoda, x is 4. It's not that bad. Just get rid of fractions, kids. All right, number 4 is absolute value. It has 2 answers. Think of the v. You have to write 2 equations. The first one is as is without the bars. Or, and hear me out, on the second one, you change the sign on the stuff inside. We're looking at 3x minus 5 equals 12. We would add 5 to both sides. Then we would divide by 3. We get 17/3. Over here, we'll just go ahead and take away 5 from 12. Negative 3x is 7. And then we will divide by the negative 3. The negative symbol either belongs in the numerator or in front of the fraction. It does not belong in the denominator. And there's those guys. See, I didn't leave enough room for number 5. You are supposed to solve that equation for pi r squared. That, by the way, is the formula for volume of a cylinder. You're solving it for pi. And you'll notice that r squared and h are attached. This is like ridiculously simple. The opposite of multiplication is division. That is right on this. It's going to be ugly. If you want to isolate pi, just divide out r squared h. Ta-da! And if you do it to the left, you had better do it to the right, and vice versa. And it's a really simple one, but it ends up being that volume over r squared h. Search shape. There we go. Equals pi. Yes. Something. By the way, you guys use the symbolism for pi. I'm typing things out. Don't be the kid who writes down pi for pi. Like, don't be that kid. But you're going to be that kid. All right, moving on to our two ACT questions. First one is, what is the slope-intercept form of negative 8x plus 2y equals 12? You can hear my wife giggling. She just brought me a cat. Need to get these in y equals mx plus b. All right. So we're going to, no, it won't beat that one. We're going to move the 8x to the right, make it positive, and get it closer to the form. Then we're simply going to divide by 2. 8 over 2 is 4. And it doesn't matter, but 12 over 2 is 6. We only the slope is 4. I didn't even ask that, just want slope-intercept form. All right, then we got a right triangle down below, and we're supposed to figure out the tangent of angle A. Now, all you have to do is remember this little acronym from Miss Cantrell's class. SOHCAHTOA. Tangent is opposite side over adjacent side. Now, you're at angle A, so your attention goes here, all right? Turns out that opposite of angle A is little a. This is opposite, and adjacent to angle A is C. So the tangent of angle A is really quite simple. It's A over C. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now we got the distributive property and some factoring. Distributive property has not gone as well as I would hope it would for some kids. I don't know why. I don't know what's up with it. I don't know what's up with my laptop right now. Don't know the answer to that either. Like, why can't I put an x? There it is. 5x times 4x is 20x squared. But what I'm noticing is a lot of kids, and I'm assuming they're not watching the videos, the next thing they would write is 10. Bruh, 5 times 2 is 10, but there's an x. Figure that out. All right, on this one, we have an x times an x. That's an x to the second. You were doing the product of two binomials. You're actually doing FOIL. On the then we have x times a negative 6 minus 6x. Moving on the inside, positive 3 times x plus 3x. And then we're moving on to the outside here. A positive 3 times a negative 6 is minus 18. And we combine like terms. The negative x and 6x and 3x in the center are like terms. What I'm noticing is a lot of you guys don't understand what like terms are. Like, you need to fix that. A negative 6x plus 3x is negative 3x. And we have the minus 18. It's like you probably made a 60 in Algebra 1, the bare minimum, which means you know probably 20% of Algebra 1. That's the issue, and you're going to have to fix it. Don't know why that disappeared. All right, moving on to this guy. It's just like 7, first, outer, inner, last. 4x times 6x is 24x to the second. 4x times 8 would be plus 32x. Negative 3 times 6x minus 18x. And negative 3 times 8 would be minus 24. By the way, you do need to be checking me. I have been sleeping all day. I do not feel good. Combine your like terms here, 32 and 18. I feel like that's going to be plus 14x and then minus 24. Now we got some factoring practice. All right, cool. Remember, what leads in both sets has to create the first term, which is x squared. That's pretty easy. That's an x and an x. The back of the bus is factors of 7, so 1 and 7. And the goal is to add to 8 in the middle. Well, it turns out that a positive 1 and a positive 7 add up to 8, so there you go. Signs are easy. That one's pretty simple. That's x plus 1 times x plus 7. Now, I have noticed a lot of you guys are sitting there wasting your life away doing the 4 method, but whatever. Number 10 doesn't actually, you can use it with two sets of parentheses, but not really. It's as simple as factoring out what we call a monomial. You know, what do both pieces possess? Well, they both possess x. It's the very first factoring lesson you ever do. The very, very first. All right, number 11. Let's see if numbers I made up work. To create that 7x squared, we need a 7x in the first set and an x in the second, because 7x times x is 7x squared. Factors of 10 are probably 2 and 5. And let's see what I made. If I link the outside together, 7x times 5 is 35, and 2. I can get there. If the 35 is positive, 35 minus 2 works, because 35 minus 2 is 33. And negative 2 times 5 is 10. All right, we're almost half done. Here we have function notation. Given f of x is negative 5x plus 4, find f of negative 3. That literally means that we let x equal negative 3. We don't let the function be -3. We run across an x, it's a -3. All right, 5 times a -3 is -15. If we add 4, we should get -11. Here we're going to let the x be a 4. That'll give us -20 plus 4, which is -16. Find the slope between two given points. Formula for slope, and I'm typing, so it's going to look a little different, is y2 minus y1 sitting pretty over x2 minus x1. Your first order pair gives you x1, y1. Your second order pair would give you x2, y2. So this is going to get set up as m equals -12 minus 7, sitting pretty over 8 minus a -3. Now, there's a lot of kids every year I teach that just can't do slope, and every single one of you that can't do slope ends up in summer school, or you come back another year. Like, I get that that you hate math, but you're just making your problems worse. Anyways, -12 minus 7, last I checked, was -19. 8 minus a -3, taking away a negatives, addition always has been. You get -19 11ths, and everything's said and done. 15, find the average rate of change over intervals. So you're going to use the AR average rate of change formula, which is f of b. Remember, I'm typing here. Take away f of a. All sitting pretty over b minus a. Now, where do you get the a and b? You get them from right here. A comma b. So, if I want to find f of b, I let the x be a 2. It'll be a 2 that is squared plus a 2. 2 squared is 4. You add 2, you're 6. If I want f of a, I'm going to plug in a -1. I haven't given you all calculators yet, and I'm not going to for a while because I really feel you ought to know what a -1 squared is. And believe it or not, as soon as I give you calculators, your grades will not naturally get better. They'll actually get worse. Yeah, who would have thunk? Anyways, if you do the math there, you get 3. So let's plug in our little formula. The top ends up being 6 minus 3, and that's sitting pretty over the bottom, which is 2, take away a -1. And we end up getting 3 over 3, which is just 1. Now, 16, a line has a slope of -3, pass through the point -1, 4. Write the equation of this line in slope-intercept form. We're going to use our transformation forms here. Y equals a times x minus h plus k. It's the easiest way to do it. So we have a slope of -3, that's a. We are taking away a -1 from x, and then we are adding 4 as k. Clean it up a little bit. We'll have a -3 times x plus a 1 plus a 4, and then hitting it with the distributive property, -3x minus a 3 plus a 4, and then combining like terms, -3x plus 1. All done. 17, below is a graph f of x. Form the following transformations. I gave you 3 of them. And remember, follow the order Bach. And if we're doing Bach, we need to identify things. A is -1, H is -2, and K is 1. I didn't give you a horizontal thing. Just follow the order Bach and draw your final answer on the blank graph. So the first thing I have to do is actually H. All right, I have to shift this thing left 2. That'll go over there. That'll go over there. That'll go over there, and that'll go over there. Oh, I'm missing bad. I'm using my trackpad here. It's horrible. Anyways, the next thing I have to do is A, and that A is -1. Now, what does that mean? Okay, now, I guess I should have said H equals -2, shift left 2, okay? A being -1, we multiply y values by -1, okay? And some of y'all, God bless you, you struggled over pairs. This is -5, 4. If we multiply the y value by 4, we would be at -4. So that point that was all nice and high at -5, 4 is now at -5, -4. This guy right here, which was at -1, -1, is now at -1, 1, because we're multiplying the y value by -1. This dude, which is at 0, 3, is now at 0, negative 3. And this dude, which is at 2, 3, is now at 2, negative 3. What we've done is we've done a vertical reflection. All right, what's left to do? We got a K, right? And I'm just going to go ahead and do that on the last one. But K is 1. Means we shift up 1. All right, so this was at negative 5, negative 4. Now it's at negative 5, negative 3. This one's at negative 1, 1. It is now at negative 1, 2. This one is at 0, negative 3. It is now at 0, negative 2. And this guy is at 2, negative 3. It is now at 2, negative 2. About right there. Dun, 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 dun. And this should be my final one. There you go. Not so bad. All right, and these are not bonuses. For the graph left, find the following. Domain. Okay, so this thing starts at an x value of negative 6, a bracket, and then it runs up to this giant hole at negative 4. We use parentheses because there's nothing in the hole. We jump the hole at negative 4, and we continue walking along the graph until we hit an x value of 2. And there's both a hole up here and a hole down here, so the next set cannot have a bracket. We continue walking from 2 to 7. Parentheses when you can't be something, brackets when you can. Range, if you look at this side, we have a y value from negative 3 to 3, but there's no y value at 0, but this graph takes it over. So think about this piece right here filling the range right there, because y can be 0 over here, even though it couldn't be over here. So anyways, the range is negative 3 to 3. Brackets. Max value, the max y value is right here, where y is 3. The minimum y value happens to be negative 3. Those are not just opposite of each other. Don't be that kid. Graph is constant. We think horizontal. Remember y equals c. The graph is horizontal from 2 to 2. We just use parentheses on that. We only use brackets on domain and range. Decreasing. There is no interval. DNE. It's DNE, not DER. There's like a couple of you kids, I think you copied off of one kid that's spelling, they're spelling DER. Like, I don't know who you're getting your homework from, but if the kid is writing DER, you shouldn't be copying off of that kid repetitively, and I'm pretty sure it's a frickin' honors kid that's writing it that starts it. It's DNE, does not exist. It is not DER. I've done this a long time. Nobody has ever wrote DER. But here we go. All right, intervals where the graph is increasing, and there are actually some intervals where the graph is increasing. From there to there, and I have to stop because the graph is not there. There's actually 3 intervals where it's increasing. If we took a calculus class, we'd talk about closing that discontinuity, but we're not in pre-calc. So negative 6 to negative 4, and then negative 4 to negative 2. And finally from 2 to 7. That's where this thing is increasing. Positive means above x-axis, okay? Above the x-axis. So from negative 4 all the way to 2 we're above the x-axis, and these are x values. It's a hard part for kids to get. These are x values. When x is negative 2 all the way until, from when x is negative 4 all the way until x is negative 2 we're above the x-axis. And then from where x is 4 until x is 7, you're above the x-axis. Negative would have to mean below the x-axis. It's going to be these things right here. We are below the x-axis from negative 6 until negative 4. And we are also below the x-axis from 2 until 4. All right, f of 2, again, that means where on, or what is y when x equals 2? And when x is 2, there are no y values in either piece of the graph. There's no x value here, and there's no x value here. This is DNE, not DER. I don't know which one you honors kids started that, but Jesus, you're honors. And you're going to write DER? What does it stand for? F of 4 would be about right here. Okay? So the y value there is about 0. Like it's 0. It's close enough. So f of 4 is simply a 0. And lastly, the average rate of change over the interval from -6 to 5. That's the last question, I think. So when x is -6, this is where we are on the graph. We put a nice good point there. And when x is 5, we're here. Okay? Let's just go back to 7th grade math. Connect the dots, right? Oh, don't want that one. We want the slanty dude. There we go. Connect the dots. And let's think about the rise. We rose 4, right? Do you see that? 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to write this as a fraction, but yes, we rose 4. We always do rise over run. And we ran from -6 to 11. And if you either do the math in your head or count the blocks, you get 11. So 4/11 is the average rate of change over that interval. And that should be it for Basics 3. So there you go, kids. This quiz will be Friday. Hope you enjoyed the lecture. Probably did not.